change when you reach out your hand. I find myself again.
Hi everyone, welcome to Hygraph Winter Product Update. I am Jean, the Senior Content Marketing Manager at Hygraph, and today I'm joined by two brilliant colleagues of mine, Danielle and Fabian. I'll be giving them a proper introduction in just a moment. We're just going to wait for a couple of more minutes so that more people can tune in. I'm dialing in today from Barcelona, and I believe that Danielle and Fabi are joining from our lovely office in Berlin. Hey, how are you guys doing?
All right, thank you. And that's correct. Yes, from, I don't know, several feet apart in different rooms here in the office. And yeah, looking forward to the live stream.
Yeah, nice to see everyone.
Great, great. Then, let's get started. During this quarter, we have released a series of exciting features that makes Hygraph fully AI-powered, together with an upgraded editorial experience, and we will be showing you all that in today's live stream. Together with me, I have Danielle, the head of product, and also Fabian, the senior product manager at Hygraph. We will be kicking off the session by Fabi demoing the MCP Server, AI Assist, and AI Agent. And Danielle will be following up by showing us how does the click to edit look like in action, as well as a sneak peek of what's coming in Hygraph in 2026. Feel free to drop any comment and say hi, and also ask any question in the chat today. Let us in where you are joining from. And in the end, we will also have a dedicated FAQ section. So without further ado, Fabi, the floor is yours.
All right, then let's get started. MCP Server. The idea here is that a lot of developers are already using AI tools such as Claude, which I'm showing here, Cursor, or similar tools in their day-to-day work. And what we've seen is that these tools are great for helping you code or just working with LLMs in general, but it can't actually talk to your CMS. And what ends up happening is you copy things back and forth, switch tabs, and break essentially your flow. With the MCP server, we wanted to give these AI assistants direct access to Hygraph, and you can tell it things like, show me all the blog posts or create a new product entry, and it actually does it. All your permissions that you have still apply, so we use our permanent access token system for that, and it just means you can work with your content without leaving your IDE, and that's also what I briefly want to show to you now. So up here, I have Claude, and I've already configured it to use the Hygraph MCP server of my demo project. So if I click on the tools here, I can see that there's Hygraph configured. If I click on this specifically, I can see there's all the tools available that I can utilize, which is, for example, creating an entry, getting the schema, listing entities itself, so entries itself, publishing an entry, searching or updating, right? All of these things are available. And now I can do something like show me all the products in Hygraph. And I'll just run this, and it will use the tools available to make sure that it surfaces things to me. And if we just wait a bit here, we can actually take a look at what it does. So first of all, it lists all the types that are available. It figured out that there's a product type, which is just what I asked about, and then lists me the things that I'm interested in. So in here, I have a hoodie, I have a mug, I have a t-shirt, and a backpack, and all of that is listed. And then I could also do something like create a new, maybe like a Hygraph scarf, perfect for the winter. Product, just send this off, and then using the available tools, we'll just do the same thing again, and then actually surface it within Hygraph. To give it a couple minutes here to think. Again, it's getting the schema to understand how does a product actually look like, what are the fields of a product. And once that's figured out, it will start to actually create the entry and put all of the things in here. It even uses our rich text format, giving the tools description, and then it's created, and we know, okay, this is everything that's here. And then it also asks me, it's currently in draft. Would you like me to publish it or create any other? So we can say, publish it. And then after a couple of seconds, that should also be completed. There we go.
I have a question, actually,
Sure.
Bobby. Like, so And I think I'm kind of also running into this question when I'm playing around with MCP, is that it seems like, I mean, Hygraph is a pretty powerful tool. AI obviously is another very powerful tool. You know, so many different things you can do. So I guess just to kind of help people and myself to kind of navigate into this in this choice of what I can do, what I cannot. Is there anything you would say that you really do not recommend using MCP server for, like that it isn't like a good match for?
Um, I think it typically also depends a bit on what LLM you use, right? Of course, the MCP server is just kind of the list of tools of things you can do with Hygraph, right? That we kind of provide the LLM as information. If you use maybe an LLM that's maybe, let's use the term, not as smart, right, and can't really figure out how to use it, then of course it might just produce bad results at the end of the day, right? In this case, I use Opus 4.5, so one of the latest models from Claude. And then, of course, it's just much smarter to work with the tooling, right? And of course, MCP is something pioneered by Anthropic, so of course it works a bit better there. So I think it really depends on what LLM you use. And then, of course, also the more complex your schema gets, there's also, of course, some things that can throw the LLM off, right? So I think it's hard to say, like, give a concrete guidance, but I think it's really just try it out, right? The thing is, you can really decide what the LLM should be able to do here with the toolings. If you give it a permanent access token that, for example, can only read things, then you're also on the safe side and nothing could ever be created or updated. Or you just try it out, for example, on an environment that you have in your project and really just give it a go and see what it does. So yeah, there's just so many opportunities, also pulling this into different AI workflows, right? Where you say, first I want to fetch something from Hygraph, do something, transform the data, maybe send it off to a different system, and then update something in Hygraph. So all of this is now possible without needing to really like teach the LLM, like whatever that might be, to how to use GraphQL or your specific project API. This is all MCP kind of doing for you. So it opens up a nice set of opportunities that weren't possible before.
Nice. Yeah, thanks. That makes sense.
All right. Now I'll actually jump over to my Hygraph project to showcase everything there. Quickly jumping the window here. And now we're in my Hygraph project, and I can also quickly reload here, and we can see the Hygraph scarf is created. It's published. We can click on it. We can see, all right, seems everything is here. And now we can already move on to the next thing I want to showcase, which is our Hygraph AI Assist. And this one is really for content editors. And what we've seen is that content teams are typically under a lot of pressure with more content, more localizations, right? Tighter deadlines. And sure, there's AI tooling out there, but typically they don't really understand your Hygraph content model, your structure of the project. You copy things from Hygraph into a different tool, you copy it back, you need to reform it, right? It's a lot of back and forth essentially without the context that is kind of important here. So with AI Assist, we built this directly into Studio. The cool thing is that it knows your schema, it knows what field you're in, it knows what locals you're in, and you can, for example, ask it to generate a new content entry. You can improve what's there. So if you have a specific field you feel like that's not great, you can improve it, or you can translate specific fields into other languages. And the cool thing is with AI Assist, it just does it after you actually accepted it. So the AI will not do anything without your approval. And that's also quickly I want to show here now. So if we take this scarf, for example, we can see that it's currently English only. In the bottom right, let's say we also want to translate this to German. I'll click on the plus here to start that. Now I hit the AI Assist button here, and we have the three options I mentioned: creating content, improving, or translating. In this case, I want to translate this. I can select the fields I want to translate. In this case, we have to name the tagline and the description as localizable fields. I can decide the source local. In this case, of course, English is the only one. I could decide the target local. German is also the only one available at this time. And then I can set a tone of voice. For example, I could say it should be friendly, professional. Let's actually go with friendly here. And then you could theoretically provide a set of prompts or a prompt that could say something like, make sure to use words, or make sure to not translate words that are typically used in German. So if there's like specific words, that we'll just keep them. We'll send this off. And then once this is actually done, we'll be able to see what it produced. And before actually putting this into content, we have the nice overview. You can say, okay, Hygraph, Winterschal, okay, sounds okay, we can apply this. There's the tagline we've created, we can apply this, and then we also see our content here and can compare it to the actual English version, just like you would as an actual translator. You can accept all of that, save it, and now within a couple of seconds, we've localized our entry from English to German. That's essentially all here now. There's another way you can do things, and this is kind of a bit more sophisticated way I also want to showcase now, and this is what we call AI agents. And this one is really tied more into the content workflow type of thing. What we've seen is that a lot of customers have tasks that happen every single time content moves through a workflow, and this could be things like translations. We've just seen it. We have SEO checks, we have summaries, right? And it's typically repetitive tasks. It's always the same thing. It takes quite a lot of time to translate things or maybe create a summary for something. And you, of course, have to remember that someone actually needs to do it. With AI agents, we wanted to automate a lot of these processes. And what you do is you assign an agent to a specific workflow step. And when a content moves to that workflow step, the agent takes over. They translate it, they write a summary or run some SEO analysis. And you still see everything it did. You can still approve it or move it to the next step only if you want to, right, and publish it. It just essentially takes the repetitive stuff off your plate. And we can quickly also show how that looks like in Hygraph. So for that specifically, I created a page model. In here, we can see the introducing AI and automation at Hygraph. It's a smaller version of what we currently have on our website about actually AI and automation to just showcase how that looks like. We can see that we have components here with a tagline. We have a content piece that uses a heading and a rich text field. And then lastly, just a showcase of, for example, agents here. Now, what needs to be sort of in place here is a workflow. So let's quickly jump into the settings of our project and take a look at workflows. So for this specific one, we care about the page workflow. And the page workflow is currently set up that, first of all, it has a starting step. So whenever you create an entry, it lands in that step. And then there's a set of steps you can define that could be used for review. And in this case, you can already see we have one AI agent step. And that means as soon as I move something from that first step into the translate step, the agent takes over. And you can really think about the agent as like a virtual teammate. And that's also something we brought to the configuration page. So actually setting up the agent happens in the settings right here. I have 3 agents set up right now. For now, we can focus on the translation agent. I've called him Tim. Tim is working on the page workflow. You can see it's working on the first step here. And then we have a configuration for that agent. In this case, I can say that, for example, Tim translate to German and to English. And something that's also coming soon is that it can actually translate related entries as well, but it's not there yet. What I can do now is heading back to the content entry. So let's say, okay, I'm happy with what I have here in English, but now our page is also distributed to German and French. So we click to the next step. We get kind of a preview of what would happen. I click move forward. And now the entry is sort of handed off to that agent and they'll do work in the background. And as soon as it's done, you can use the entry again. You can keep browsing. You can change another entry, work with it. And also when it's completed, there will be a comment posted and we can take a look at what it actually did. And while it's translating, actually, we can also take a look at what we have as other agents. We have 2 other ones. We have the SEO expert. The SEO expert uses a set of fields. So for example, the title, excerpt, and the content in this example, looks at them and kind of looks at them from an SEO perspective and then posts a comment for that content entry to really guide you on what you could improve in terms of what text should you use, how should the content be structured, are there any keywords you really need to use? And that's something that is presented to you and you can use it to change the entry and update it. And lastly, we have the content summarizer, Sophie in this case. You select a set of source fields. So you can say for example, my blog post, I have a title, I have an excerpt, and I have content. And it should be put into, in this case, I've called it AI summary, but it could be something like a social media blog post or anything that you want to use to translate it, to summarize it. And once the agent hits the step, it takes the source fields, looks at them, and creates a summary based on what you have set up. And just like the translator agent, you can always assign custom instructions. So in this case, I told Sophie to act like an SEO expert and then only use 2 sentences, for example, to keep it short. While the translator agent is going, we also have a nice overview to see what's going on and in which step they are. So let's actually select Tim here, our content translator. Now we can see all of the runs that happened over the last couple of days when I was testing this. And the last run was actually 1 minute ago. So we can see it completed, successful. We can see how many operations we used. Everything is good. We can head back to our content. We can see it got actually moved into review step as well. And if we open this up, we see German, French on all of the fields. And even in our component structure, everything got translated down to the rich text field. And it even works further nesting levels down, just for the simplicity here, with one nesting level. And that's essentially Hygraph AI agents.
I have a few questions, if I may.
Sure.
I mean, the most important one is why Sophie and Tim have names, but SEO agent is just SEO. That's you know, what's the reason behind this naming choice?
I mean, that's really just to test it a bit, right? At that point, I was like, what's a good name? I already have one with S. I couldn't think of another one, so it ended up being SEO. That's the real truth behind it.
Well, okay, yeah, I think maybe we can ask AI Assist for
Yeah.
ideas on what the name should be. But also, yeah, it's super cool to see that yeah, you know, there are different use cases already kind of baked in. So and for that, I actually have a question for Jane, who also works with the Hygraph app as well. Also not only the person who helps develop it and you know, tell the world about the product, but actually as a user of the product. Do you already have you already used agents, and do you have a favorite one that's like clearly helped you in your day to day?
Yeah, thanks, Daniel, for shooting the question my way, because actually I wanted to add on the naming of agents topic, because currently I am using one, the summarizing Sophie. By popular demand, I call it Summy, just another idea for Fabi. Yeah, and I think SEO is just kind of like hard to translate it into a human name. But yeah, to answer your question, so we are implementing a summary section at the top of many content types on our website currently, one being our blog post and also our academy. And yeah, I think it's really straightforward, easy to use in this case, because yeah, I configure the workflow myself. And then also, I just know that by moving it forward with the workflow, the agent will do the work for me, and all I have to do is to review. And I think this reflects very well of our idea, you know, AI at the end of the day, it does the work. It's always human in control. And what I also appreciate a lot is that, you know, we can get more done without increasing headcount. It's really machine doing the work at the backstage, and then you just have to approve and make sure that it works under your governance rules.
Sounds really good. Yeah. And yeah, I guess with maybe the last comment on the whole naming topic, I promise. But yeah, if anybody who's watching have any creative ideas on the naming convention or the actual names, please share that with us in the comments. We'll be very happy to yeah, to change that and consider. So awesome. Yeah. Thank you, folks. Thanks, Fabi.
Then I believe that we have Daniel up next, who will show us how does click to edit, which is another feature that I am very excited about. How does it look like in real life? And then also show us a sneak peek of what's coming in Hygraph in 2026. And Daniel,
Perfect.
over
Yes.
to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Happy to also present this very well, long-awaited and an important update to the Hygraph product. So this feature is called Click to Edit. Essentially, the idea behind the feature, and I guess I'm just gonna start showing it already, right? Show, don't tell. Let's leave by this principle here. An editor or anybody else, right, for that matter, can click on an element of your website to edit the relevant part of the content form in Hygraph. The idea of the feature is very, very simple, but as usual, right? Something very simple is very often something very powerful. And I definitely think this is the case with the click to edit feature that allows the editors to really skip all this headache of, first of all, even finding the entry inside Hygraph, because this also the click to edit works also own mode, right? You can click on an edit button and get directly into Hygraph, into the content form that corresponds to that entry, that page, the web page. And then, of course, inside the page, as you can see here already, right, I also have some nested components and relational fields and different types of fields here that I use to power this little clothing website. What I can do is, I can jump directly to the place in the content form where I need to be and fix this typo, for example, right here. Let's have a look right here. As you can see, we have this also, we've added kind of on top of the already useful functionality of click to edit, where there's the sync between the web page and the content form. There's already kind of like a live update, right, of the right side of the web page while you type in your content form. And this is more of an experimental feature for now on the click to edit, but the feature itself, the main idea is currently in public beta, and but it works for all content, all types of fields, and all the different kinds of configurations of your content form. So really happy to see this improvement shipped to Studio. It is, by the way, just a few comments, right, for the developers and the audience on Hygraph Preview SDK NPM package that you can already use in your project. We have documentation about the feature. There is like a general article that explains kind of conceptually what click to edit is and kind of brings you through the different steps that you need to do to enable the feature. And then the feature, of course, supports different front-end frameworks. You can also use click to edit, like you can use our vanilla JS guide and example if you're working for some of the frameworks that is not explicitly supported by the feature yet, because of course, right, we're going to be extending it further. One very detailed specific example to the website here is the Next.js app router. And just to give you a quick overview of the steps that you need to do after installing the SDK, what you need to do is create the preview wrapper component in your project, essentially just copying all of the stuff that we have here on the page. As you can see, this is essentially your config where you decide, when you provide different information, you also decide whether or not you want to enable some of those experimental features of this package. And something that I didn't mention before, but you can also customize how this, what we call overlay here. So essentially how this thing looks, right? I have a white button with black text on it. You can, of course, have anything that sort of pleases the eye of the user of your web page, who's going to be the editor, of course, right? So obviously one of the prerequisites is that you have some sort of preview website, because you don't want to show those kind of things to your end users on your actual production website. And so once the component is there and we wrap everything in this preview wrapper, essentially the most important, we would assume that, of course, if you are kind of adding this already to an existing website, you have your environment variables figured out. Perhaps the main kind of the part that requires most effort, let's say, is connected exactly this mapping, right? The connection between your Hygraph field and an element of your website. And here is an example of that, where the H1 element recipe title corresponds to the title field of the recipe model. And yeah, you can do that. Obviously, of course, because of how this is built and organized, you have a very granular control of where this clickable element appears, where it doesn't, stuff like that. You can do it, as you also saw in my little demo, you can do it for fields on the model level, and you can also do it for the fields inside components, right? And there is a quick guide about basic components, nested components, modular components, all that is supported. And yeah, super happy to receive feedback about this feature, which is already live. And yeah, this is click to edit.
I'm curious, actually, Jing, person here from us to be working with content a lot, of course, and with our website, with Studio. What do you think is like the biggest benefit here from your perspective?
Yeah, I think the most straightforward value here is definitely time saving because, yeah, let's forget about the more simple use case, which is a blog post, right? Like when you edit a page, so many times the content model itself, it's so nested. And with this click to edit, it's really just bringing me directly to the field where I have edit. And I think this is going to save tons of time for me myself, and also imagine like a lot of time saved for communication overhead, right? Because what if I need help with from a colleague of mine? This literally click to edit function. I also think that it's a very appropriate level of visual editing in the sense that it made things much simpler without, we don't need a shiny feature at the end of the day. It's really just helping me to save time to make my day-to-day work easier. Yeah, so I really appreciate this feature.
Yeah, that's good to know. And yeah, hopefully it kind of this effect maintains across all the different projects that our users build in Hygraph. I will quickly finish up our live stream in my section with a quick note and a few more demos of new stuff, which is kind of the umbrella term for those smaller features is the lab program, Hygraph lab program, where essentially the idea behind the lab program is to launch experimental features as soon as possible. It's in our day and age, of course, the actually delivering a feature is becoming, I wouldn't say a commodity, but definitely there's a clear acceleration, right, in this part of building a product. But of course, something that is still that's always well, unless we get to like an agent to agent communication, but maybe it's also important to have proper UX to make sure that you know that one agent is properly solving the problem of the other agent. And I don't know how they're going to figure this out in their like binary language. We are still here where we really need to know that whatever we add to our product really brings value to users, and it is something that is essentially helps you do what you want faster or easier. And this is why we're launching this lab program to quickly to kind of open the curtain for some of the features that that we can quickly ship and collect feedback about. So if you're interested in some of those features, by the way, feel free to contact us at Hygraph, either through your customer success manager or through our support channels, and we're going to enable those smaller kind of quality of life improvements, such as, finally get into the demo, the schema graph. This is a working title, maybe a real title, we'll have to see. The idea here is quite simple, right? We have our models usually in this list right here, where you can navigate around, but it's very helpful in many cases to see the relation between the models and other schema elements that you have in your project. So schema graph comes right in with the idea that you can see the visual representation of your schema, only models or models and components together. As you can see here, it becomes very clear to me that we have as related to both page and author, or if I add components, I can also see that button is used twice, hero section asset. So essentially for this exploration, and I don't know, I would also imagine developers of a project really using that for maybe onboarding their new teammates, or just kind of brainstorming around what can be simplified in a schema that they have. So yeah, schema graph, the idea behind it is to visualize that, to facilitate those kind of conversations and brainstorms. And the second thing, which is quite similar in a way, is the ability for the user to see which elements of the schema are used in different parts of your schema. So as you can see here at the top of the page, next to the name of the model, or next to the name of my component, I can see this little UI element. Not super sure what is the exact term. We can click on it on a button, right? And we would see that this button component is used in the page model and also in the hero section component, right? So there's a very helpful distinction, obviously, that allows us to see that, oh, right, so the button component is used right here, and also the second part is somewhere here in the page in the sections component. For the models themselves, that also works. Of course, we can see that page is actually not used anywhere. We cannot embed, or like we cannot reference the page model anywhere. But for example, the article model is referenced and can be used inside the page model and the author model. Also really helps kind of just with this context, right? Like what is my schema really, and how entangled it is. Also helps clean up your schema, right? If you have a model that you don't really know if it's supposed to be here or not, and then you see, okay, it actually there's zero uses of this model or this component, especially. Yeah, of course, it gives you peace of mind, and it lets you understand that if you delete it, nothing major is gonna happen. So yeah, those are the two features. Again, they are inside a lab program. We essentially, by putting those features in a lab program, we ask a question to the users: is this interesting? Is this valuable? Do you want to use it, and why? Also, because the why would also help us make those features even better. Like I said, if you're interested in those two features specifically, please reach out, and then we'll also continue sharing updates about those kind of experiments that we run in here at Hygraph. And I think that is all that I wanted to share from my side today. Over to you, Jim.
I saw that Fabi unmuted him. I'm not sure whether he has a question for you, Daniel.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, like, for example, some of these things looked interesting for me now. Like, I want to kind of give a go and test the schema elements in use. Like, how would I go about it as a user, right? And of course, how would I share feedback or report anything if it doesn't work? We can share that.
Yeah, so well, like I said, right, you need to contact us for either through your customer success manager or through support@hygraph.com. And yeah, speaking of those two features, for example, right, if you are interested in that, please let us know. We are going to enable it for your project on our site. And then essentially we're going to open this dialogue and really like this kind of it's a product management lingo, but yeah, like a qualitative research through maybe even a short call, or maybe just through Slack or email. We'd like to receive feedback, however, in whatever way that is more convenient for the users. So the first step, of course, is to contact us, like I said, again, either through your customer success manager or through support email.
All right, then thank you guys for both demoing our latest feature. I do see that we have one question in the chat. Sam is asking if you can change what LLM the AI assist uses inside of our studio, Fabi.
Oh yeah, thanks for the question, Sam. As of right now, we essentially use Claude models under the hood. There's also some discussions ongoing, right, on how that should proceed going forward. But if you have any specific in mind, let us know. We'll kind of collect that feedback, and then maybe in one of the future iterations, there might be options to change that as well. For now, as mentioned, it's mainly the Claude models, the most advanced one we can get access to, essentially. But yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Fabi. And so with all of the features presented, now we have a dedicated FAQ time. So feel free to ask more questions if you have any, because I personally do have one. Also, I'm a content editor. Again, I need as many help from AI as possible. So I wanted to know if we are going to release any more AI assist and also agents.
Yeah, so we currently discussing also kind of what next things come for both of these features, right? If there's any things that anyone, of course, in this live stream or later on watching this, has ideas for the content workflow on how we can improve their lives, make repetitive tasks easier, we're always happy to hear that, right? I also forgot to mention earlier, but AI Assist is something that both AI Assist and agents, something that's currently in early access. So if you want to test that out, you can also contact us, just like Daniel said, for the lab features, and we're happy to enable that and collect some feedback. AI Assist is something that also probably in the next month will be available for any project in Hygraph, from free tier to enterprise. Anyone will get access to it. And then we're also keen on hearing feedback on that, how we can improve it further. And agents is something that will be available on the enterprise tier. And as mentioned, if you just want to use them at the time, just right now, feel free to let us know, and we're happy to talk. Can we embed custom AI agents from Jay? As of right now, not yet. It's these 3 ones, potentially with a few more coming as well. But if you have any specific things in mind on how that could look like and what you might want to use it for, also feel free to just contact us, and happy to have a chat with you. Sam again, nice. Thank you for the question. Can the MCP server be used to translate content as well? For example, create a Hygraph scarf and translate this content in Spanish and German. Yes, that's also possible. Just the way that you can create or update content entries, you can of course just say, hey, I have a content entry about a Hygraph scarf. Please translate it into German as well. So the same would also work.
I have a quick question back to Jay, maybe if I don't know, you can use the chat or also contact us differently to elaborate a little bit. But I'm just very curious to know what do you have in mind when it comes to custom AI agents? That would be super interesting to know. Yeah, what do you envision? And yeah, thanks for the question.
Yeah, I think we can still give it a couple of more minutes to see if more folks have question in the audience, among the audience. And one thing I would like to say is that, you know, to get any access to the lab feature, to the AI assist or AI agent, all you have to do is to raise your hand. We're all ears. We're here to help you. We're here to hear your feedback. So yeah, don't be shy when it comes to reaching out to us. You can find us on the website as well as on our Slack channel. If not, just you can connect with Daniel and Fabian via LinkedIn. We are here to help.
100%. Yeah, also I just wanted to add maybe one smaller thing to Sam's question about the MCP server for translating. Like what I also, you know, when we talk about using MCP just as a like a standalone user, I found it quite successful in, like, you know, having a conversation right inside Claude with about your content entry, for example. I think it could be a bit different if you use the MCP for some kind of like automated workflows. But when it's just me talking to Claude and you know, maybe iterating on my content, I really like this, just going with, okay, hey, here's some content, maybe just I don't know, throw a PDF into it, or I don't know, just some blob of text, and say, okay, move it to Hygraph, moves it to Hygraph, and then you can start iterating, right? Okay, now let's add a German translation. Let's add the English, change the tone of it, the usual AI stuff, right? And that, I think, is just I don't know. I found it super. Maybe it's also because it's such a new way of using tools that are also so familiar to me, right, as working here at Hygraph. But yeah, I found it really useful to kind of to go step by step with Claude, and also it's yeah, probably because it's easier than to kind of, okay, change and fix what it's doing on a more granular level.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. And yes, David, this live stream will be available both on YouTube and also LinkedIn as a in a past live stream format. So you can share it with any colleagues or peers you have in mind. And guys, I think we could give it still a little bit more time. In the meantime, I would ask you back, maybe Fabi, as you were developing the agent, working on them, like which was your favorite, or maybe we could have a guess by name. Maybe SEO is not your favorite one because you didn't put so much effort in naming it.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. For me, always like just the translate one is super nice because it's just such a powerful agent, right? You essentially go through your whole content entry and whichever localized fields you have, even on components, they just essentially get translated. Of course, only if it's not already translated and the version isn't like the local version isn't older than the current one. But it's just, yeah, the way that it works is super nice. It's super easy to set up as well with workflows, right? Essentially just push it there and it does everything for you, and you can then review, make sure it's actually, for example, correct German, everything is translated in that way. Give it a custom instruction if you have specific things set up. So from what it can do, it's the most powerful one. But I also like the content summarizer one, just because like the things it enables, right? Without needing to think about it, when you create, let's say, a new article, you can automatically create like a blog post, like a social media post where you say, okay, keep it within a certain amount of characters. And you don't need to worry about just writing a social media post. You can just automatically have it there based on the content, which is also super nice.
That's one good way of thinking how to use our summarize agent, actually. Thanks for the idea, because I've only been using it for the summary mode so far, let's call it. And I see that we don't really have new questions in the chat. Maybe a quick question to you guys, because I know that you're both in the office today. Do you know? All right. So before I ask my question, we have another one from Sam, and I think Fabi, you can probably take this one, or Daniel as well.
I can take maybe for MCP. So with MCP, you can also work with components. That's also there. It's kind of, we try to provide everything that comes from the schema within the tool. So the LLM is able to discover, for example, if there's like components attached, and then also fill content for them. It depends a bit, of course, if the LLM is able to correctly pick it up and put things in there. But at least in my testing, I was able to get it to work. Sometimes maybe you need just another prompt. But we also build in a way that the LLM can actually use the MCP server to execute GraphQL. So if anything fails with the MCP tools, they can also still use regular GraphQL to execute there. So that's also kind of a fallback to use there. But at least with MCP, I can answer that it's possible. Yeah.
Yes, and so from my end about the click to edit, I'm not sure, Jin, can you pull my screen back to the live stream? Perfect. Yeah. So when it comes to, I think if I understand the question correctly, the question is about, for example, in the I have a newsletter section, right, in my content forum, which is a part of the page, but it is I'm referencing an entry from a different model, right? And the question, again, as I understand it, is can I use that inside click to edit? So it's like a yes and no, I guess, because so of course we can attach this like a Hygraph handle on top of this element that corresponds to, let's say, a title of this section. and yeah, so it's going to be here. However, when like right now, right, and this is one of the reasons why the feature is in public beta and not like a full 100% release, is because when we press edit, here's what happens, right? We get there, as you can see, we get directly into the title field, but of course it opens in a new kind of page because it is it's different entry, right? We understand that yeah, it would be nice to open it kind of as in a and allow to edit directly while the live preview is still open. This is something that we have on the radar, but for now this is not part of the functionality. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, if anyone among the audience has a follow-up question, you can still shoot it in our direction. If not, you can still write us, reach out to us via Slack or email, or anyhow. Because we have still a couple of minutes left before we end our live stream today. I know that our product team is having a meetup in Berlin, and the evening is approaching, right? Like it's already dark here. Do you guys know what is on dinner menu today?
Some Christmas party shenanigans, that's for sure. Other than that, I guess we're gonna share in Slack, maybe internal Slack only, but we'll see. Maybe in the community channel as well.
That's great. Yeah, I hope that everyone in the EU good evening, right? Because while we are cooking for dinner, we're cooking for Christmas. Hygraph is still cooking many delicious features that's to be presented throughout 2026. And yeah, with that, we're going to wrap up this product update winter version. And we're very thankful that all of the users are constantly giving us feedback, helping us coming up with more ideas for our product. And with that, I would say, Daniel and Fabi, do you want to say goodbye to our audience?
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for the question as well.
Thanks, guys. Bye.